Hey, what's up, you guys? It's CabooseXBL bringing you another Batman Arkham Knight Q&A video, and this week we got another great round of questions that I picked out. I picked out 5 this week, but I wanted to address something right before we got into the commentary topic, or the first question, that is, sorry. I wanted to address something. Guys, if you're leaving new questions for next week's Q&A, please do not comment them on anything but the most recent Q&A video. If I upload another topic video tomorrow, or let's say, I'm not saying this happened, but let's say a new trailer came out and I did a video on that new trailer, don't leave your questions in the comment section of that video, alright? I know some people are leaving questions to previous Q&As, like older ones, and that's okay because some people don't know, right? But addressing this right now, if you have questions for the Q&A, don't tweet me, don't comment on my Instagram pictures. The only place you can ask me questions in which they will get answered is right here in the comment section of the latest Q&A, which is obviously this one right now. With that said, leave some new questions for next week after you're done watching this video, and let's get into the first question of today, which comes from William Skipworth, and he says, question, do you think that the Batcave will be in Batman Arkham Knight the way it was in Arkham Origins? I liked having it in Origins, but how do you think the criticism of Origins will hurt its chances of making it into the game? Thanks. Keep up the great videos. Thank you, William, and I don't think the criticism of Arkham Origins is going to hinder whether or not Rocksteady wants to put the Batcave in Arkham Knight, but I think it's the fact that there's just so much else going on in Arkham Knight that there really wouldn't be enough room or enough time for us to go to the for us to go to the Batcave and chill out or anything like that. Like in Arkham Origins, it kind of made sense. You can go there, you can switch your costumes and stuff. But I think Wayne Tower is going to be the new substitute for that, because we did see there was a little clip in the beginning of the gameplay trailer where you are in Wayne Tower, and that's where he changes into his new bat suit and everything. I don't think that's the first time he wears the new bat suit. It might be, who knows. But yeah, so I think Wayne Tower is going to kind of be a new substitute place where you get to go there, change your costumes, and explore a little bit and look around a little bit, because it just seems like with everything that's going on in Arkham Knight, the Batcave would just be one more thing that kind of gets in the way of what's going on in the story and what your next objective is. But I did like the Batcave in Arkham Origins. It was really cool to just walk around and explore it, because that's Batman's home more than Wayne Manor is. The Batcave is Batman's home, so I really did like the Batcave in Arkham Origins, and it had purpose. There was cool Easter eggs, and you could switch your costumes, you can do the combat training and everything. So yeah, I do agree with you on that one, but I don't think we're going to see the Batcave in Arkham Knight. Moving on to the next question coming from Dimitri Y. Putin, and he says, do you think that Ra's al Ghul will come back in Arkham Knight, because the sword was laying on the ground and he was gone at the end of the story? He's obviously talking about Arkham City's story here, and then he goes on to talk about Clayface falling into the Lazarus Pit. Now, I do think that Ra's al Ghul will be returning in Batman Arkham Knight for multiple reasons. One being, I think he will have a big part in Red Hood's story pack. At least I hope so. And my wishes, I guess, like a fan wish, is that he does have a big part in the main story rather than maybe being a side mission. We know that he is alive. There is no way he is alive. Where his body was supposed to be lying dead by the end of Arkham City, it is just his sword, and no body is anywhere to be found. So obviously we can assume that the League of Assassins had retrieved his body and taken him to another Lazarus Pit, because there are multiple Lazarus Pits, and they can't take him to the one that had been destroyed by the end of the game with Clayface and everything. So yeah, we can obviously assume, wow, I am saying obviously a lot, I'm sorry. We can assume that Ra's is alive, and I hope he plays a big part in the main story, as well as playing a huge part in Red Hood's story pack, because that's how it is in the comics and the animated film. Moving on to the next question coming from Calvin Taylor, and he says, would you like the atmosphere of Arkham Knight to be more like Arkham City or Arkham Asylum? Personally, I like the atmosphere of Arkham Asylum because it had a very dark comic book style. I gotta agree with you on that, and if I could say so myself, I think that Arkham Knight is going to have the best of both worlds. In Arkham City, we got this big spectacle, action-packed thriller, action-packed adventure game, that really, it let let us take Batman in a big open world, while Arkham Asylum was a little more claustrophobic and, tight spaces, and it was, like you said, really like a dark comic book style. And I think we're going to get the best of both worlds in Arkham Knight. And why? Because of two villains, the Arkham Knight and Scarecrow. With Scarecrow, there's going to be a lot of influence picked out from his role in Arkham Asylum, because he was completely absent in Arkham City. We didn't see the character. We had little hints of him, of course. He was speaking on the little radio comm, saying the numbers that translated. He had that little Easter egg where he was experimenting on somebody in the boat. We saw his mask as a little Riddler thing. But for the most part, his presence is there, but not very well known, Like, you kind of have to go out of your way to figure out that Scarecrow was in Arkham City, and that's for hardcore fans. A normal fan would know that the last time they saw Scarecrow was Arkham Asylum. So, yes, I think that they're going to take a lot of what happened in Arkham Asylum and a lot of Arkham Asylum's story elements into Arkham Knight because of Scarecrow, and Arkham Knight himself, that villain, he's going to bring those big action-packed, just like big scope and big scale scenes where, because he wants to fight Batman, he wants to kill him, but he doesn't want to do it in this like psychological way, really. He just wants to beat the shit out of him and end it. That's why he has this big army. That's why he has these tanks patrolling the city of Gotham. That's why he has this thing called Operation Savior. It's endless, really. And yeah, I think that we will get the best of both worlds in terms of tone and atmosphere in Arkham Knight from Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. So great question, Calvin. And yeah. So moving on to the second last question of today. This is coming from Kieran Parambi. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but he says, Caboose, since this is the last Batman game, unless WB Montreal screws up Arkham games again, which I disagree with, do you think that Rocksteady will listen to the fans and give fans the ultimate Batman experience by all new skins, playable characters, and maybe even playable villains? Arkham Knight would be a really cool character to play as in Batman Arkham Knight. Do you also think that Batman Arkham Knight will be the game of the year in 2015? Personally, I think so, but how about you? Now, to answer your questions, we already have a playable villain. Let's not exclude that Harley Quinn is playable. We are going to be playing in the perspective of a villain with Harley Quinn. I know some people are saying she might be an anti-hero and this, that, but I do think she will be, at heart, a villain. So we are going to be able to play as a villain, and I don't want to exclude the Arkham Knight. I've answered that question to a degree before about our Arkham Knight being playable and my thoughts on it, but to reiterate it, I want him to be playable no matter what, and I think he will be. This is a new character, and as somebody mentioned in a previous question, Rocksteady is so proud of this character and so proud of creating this character. It would be such a waste if we didn't get to actually play as him, I mean, I wouldn't say it'd be a total waste, because he's going to play a major part in the main story, and the whole game is named after him, so, yeah, I mean, I don't think that this character will not be playable. There's just no way the Arkham Knight won't be playable, but I don't think he's going to be playable on day one. We have Red Hood and we have Harley Quinn ready to be played on as day one DLC when you pre-order at GameStop or whatever. And I think we're going to get a couple more, maybe two, or maybe one or two more playable characters ready for day one DLC. But as most games go, we get DLC as months go by. And I think Arkham Knight will be a playable character DLC down the line. They're going to really want us to beg. Rocksteady is kind of like that sometimes. Voice crack. I don't know if you heard that. I heard it because it came out of my mouth. I'm sorry. But yes, Rocksteady is really prone to making their fans beg for new features. We have been asking since the opening cutscene of Arkham Asylum to be able to drive the Batmobile, and it wasn't until 3 games later that we were given that option. So, I think we will get the Arkham Knight to be playable one way or another, and if he isn't, I'd be really disappointed. So thanks for that question, Kieran. And moving on to the last question of the day. This one comes from Joseph Escobedo. I think I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Again, sorry if I am. But he says, question, what if Scarecrow didn't unleash Batman's fears? Maybe Arkham Knight was a good guy, but Scarecrow unleashed Arkham Knight's biggest fears, and he sees Batman as his enemy. I have never thought of this before, actually. It is a really interesting theory. Now, I know there's some pieces of dialogue in Arkham Knight that has Scarecrow, or possibly Scarecrow, asking Arkham Knight, like, why do you hate Batman so much? And Arkham Knight replies, you would never understand. Now, we don't know. We've heard that dialogue exists, but we don't know whether or not it's Scarecrow himself asking Arkham Knight that question. And it could be kind of like the story of Total Recall, where Scarecrow does manipulate the Arkham Knight and give him memories that never existed. You know, he could implant memories into Arkham Knight's mind with the fear toxin. He could use the fear toxin as an advantage of this person that he found, you know, going across the country or going across the world, and he saw that this person was extremely skilled in combat and this, that, and he could kidnap this person, use the fear toxin to manipulate him, and have him become this insanely huge villain. I think that that could be a possibility, and it's very interesting that you bring this up, that Arkham Knight could originally be a good guy turned bad because of Scarecrow. That is so interesting. It would really flip the table, and it would be a great plot twist. I'd say that much. So thanks for the question, Joseph. You really bring up a great theory. With that said, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this week's Q&A. Again, please be sure to leave new questions in this video's comment section, and I will answer them next week in the next Q&A. I hope you enjoyed this. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. I'm CabooseXBL. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.